At times throughout the school year, students will move from one class to another, and it's important that those grades are moved to the new class so that the end of the year average will be accurate. And so there's just a few steps that you need to follow to be able to do this. So here's an example of a student, and you'll notice that this student has a progress grade for the first quarter in language arts, and then they have a second language arts class with no grades. This is the second one up here on the top. This is the new one that the student was moved to, and this one down here is the old one. So what we need to do is get this grade over to this class so that they can continue forward for this quarter to get a final grade for that quarter that would be accurate. So I'm going to walk you through how to do this. The first thing we're going to do is look at the teacher who was the original teacher, who has the grades currently. So if you're not in this view, and right now we're kind of transitioning, but you've got this enable classroom navigation, if it's turned off, you're going to see a list like this. And for this to work for you, you're going to need to turn it on. So go ahead and turn that on, and you can turn it off when you're finished. But once you turn it on, you're going to see this reports option here. So you're going to want to go to that and click on students, and then you're going to want a student summary. So what you're doing here is you're grabbing the grades for these students that you can give to the new teacher so that they can in turn put those in the grade book. So when you first get here, you're going to want to make sure you have the right class selected. In this case, it's homeroom, so I'm going to actually pick the one that we need, which is this one. And then down here, what you want to do is select Show Assignment Detail One Student Per Page, and that will allow you to give a different page to different teachers if you need to. You're going to want to make sure that all of these are checked. The percent may be unchecked, so go ahead and check that because that'll tell you the grade at the end. And then in this section, typically remove active or inactive students is checked. You're going to want to uncheck that because the student, since it's been moved from your class, is now an inactive student. So once you get these settings put together, then you're going to come down here to the bottom where it lists all the students in the class. And you'll notice that there's a number of students that are dropped. And currently they are not selected, but these are actually the ones you need the grades for. So the easiest way to do this is click on this button here to select them all, then click it again to turn that off, and then go through and just select all of the students that were dropped. And this is a fair number. Most of the time you're going to have one or two, something like that. But you can, as many as there are there, you can select them. And once you do that, you're going to say Generate PDF. And let me pull that over so you can see what that looks like. So here's what was generated when we did this. And you can see that the quarter one progress is there. If we were in doing the quarter grade, that would show up. Whatever has been done will show up on this page. And you've got this list of assignments down here that may be useful to the teacher. Might as well give them a little bit more than they need instead of not enough. So this is what you would generate and give to the teacher. So let's look at the new teacher, where the student will be. So if I come over to this teacher's grade book in the class where the student moved, you can see all of these red ones, or excuse me, all these green ones are the ones of students that have moved into this class. And so we're going to need to put in a transfer grade for these students so they can continue forward getting a grade in this class. What you'll need to do is go ahead and go add an assignment, and I'm going to call this transfer grade. And then you're going to need to make one of these for each category that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in, and this one is going to be for classwork. So we'll save that one. And then I'm going to add another transfer grade. And this will be for one of the other categories. And then I'm going to add another one. And you can name these a little differently so you can see them better. So you could call it transfer formative here. I'm just going to put that in parentheses there so we can see that that's formative mastery. And save that. And then we'll do one more. Since they have 4 categories, we'll do 4 of them. And we're going to call this one is participation. So I'm going to put a P back here. And save that. All right, so now I'm going to close this, and now inside of the gradebook now, you're going to have these transfer grades. So there's one. You can see it's for classwork. Here's one for the summative. And we should have 2 more, right? There's one, and there's one. So we've got the 4 transfer grades in here, and the easy way to do this is to come in for this student. Let's come back and get our grades. So this is the student we're looking at, and this student had a 99 before they transferred over. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in for this student, and for all of these transfer grades, we're going to put a 99 in. So this is where this will basically give them an average of 99 for all of the different categories, and they can start from here being graded for the additional things that they'll see in the class. So if you want to be real accurate, if the class had the same categories, so for instance this one has participation, classwork, formative mastery, it does not have the 4th one, but you can see the weights on those. You could actually put in the totals for those categories, like 93 for one, 100 for the other, but that may get a little complicated. So just to keep things simple, whatever their average is that they brought from the old class, put that into each transfer grade in your grade book. Now, the trick on this also is for these transfer grades, you need to make this exempt for every other student so they don't see them. Quarter grade, we're going to do exempt. Sorry about that. I'm just going to do all of them. Okay, so they're all exempt now. So what I can do now is once I save that, none of the students with exempt are going to show. I can go back into this student, turn off the exempt, sorry, and then put in the grade that they have and clean that up a little bit. So a couple ways you can do this. You can either go through and just mark everybody exempt and then come back in and fix the ones you need to, or come in and add the grades for the ones that you need to add grades for, and then do a fill empty to catch everybody who didn't get a updated grade. So I went ahead and filled in exempt for all the students except for the one that I did. So again, just to recap, when we get grades for this next person here, we would just come in, expand that out, turn off the X, and then type in the grade, and that will give them that transfer grade for this category. And you would do that for each one of these categories. And it's actually, I find it a little bit easier to see them when we do these exempts, because then they show up with all these shaded columns, and it makes it easier to find. Hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions, please submit a help desk ticket.